Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here, and I have a great project for you today. This is a project that you can use all year round because there's always someone having a birthday, and sometimes we're scrambling to get that last little minute gift together. And so, this is something that you can make up and have on hand. I think it would be great for the office setting in particular because it's called a birthday in a box, and it's really cute. I'll show you in a second what all it includes. And for those of you who don't know me and are new to my YouTube channel, welcome. And I have, for my Friday video tutorials, I always have a project sheet, and you are welcome to follow along and just use my video to create the project. But I also have this condensed version. It's a project sheet. It has a supply list. It has step-by-step instructions, and it also usually includes a diagram to help you with your cutting of whatever we're making, whether it's a fancy full card or whether it's a 3D tutorial. That project sheet gets emailed to all my email list subscribers on Saturday. So you need to be a subscriber to get that project sheet. And if you'd like to be on there, just go down below in the description of my video and you will find a link and just sign up. And just as a reminder, some people sign up for my list, and there is a second email, or actually a first email, that comes to you wanting you to confirm that you want to be on my email list, because anyone could stick anyone's email address into that box, right? But we want to confirm that you actually want to be on the email list. So make sure you confirm that with the email, and then you'll be on my email list. And you'll have access to my back projects. I think I've been doing this almost 3 years now with the project sheets. So you can go back and find some of my older project sheets if you want to print those out or save a copy for yourself as well. All right, I want to show you my project. So let me pop this out of the way. Arg. Okay, it's kind of flopped over. There's a fluff on my box. So here is the little box. I'm not going to slide it open because it's hard to slide it open because then the contents are going to fall off. But this is the box. Isn't it cute? It uses the designer tags dies. And I'm going to show you a little trick that I discovered. I wanted to make a little mini card. So there's my little mini card. And so you can color, this is like a die that cuts negative pieces out. So you can both make a little card and make a tag, a colored tag at the same time. And I'm going to show you that little trick on how to make those. So make sure you stay tuned to the end when I'm working on the little card as well. Stampin' Up! Sells these cute little 3x3 envelopes. So this is a mini card. So, we don't want a super huge card because it wouldn't fit in the box, but a nice little gift card will work really well. And it just has enough room for you to write a little message on the inside. Okay, well, I'm going to switch over to my other camera. Oh, just one more thing. It is celebration time. So if you're seeing supplies today that you're going to order, maybe just make yourself a little note on a post-it note. If you get to $50 or $100 right now until August 31st, 2022, you are going to get rewarded by Stampin' Up! With a free celebration reward. So just keep that in mind. And I have a host code this month. It is right there. And if you spend $50 with me in July, I'm going to be having a new one for August. But in July, you will get these fun flower resin shapes. And these are just like little bright little pops to add onto your cards and your 3D designs. Okay, I'm going to move these off. And I am going to go to my other camera. Here we go. All right, let's have a look at this box first, and then I'll tell you some of the supplies. So it's a slider box, and I created this double walled box. This slides right all the way off. Okay, and in here we have a little balloon, and I've got a little tab right here that holds the balloon in place, and it will lift up so you can get the contents out. And then I've got my little candles and a little tab on the opposite side. Then I created a little belly band with a little holder right here. I don't know if you can see this. This is a little holder, and then you just lift this up and you can pull your whole mug cake mix right out of there. These ones I use, this is there's a dimensional, this is a Betty Crocker cake, a mug cake, and I'll show you that in a second. So you can pretty easily slide things back in there, just lift them up. I created it so that these little things were, you know, held nicely, but they would lift up when needed. And then of course the little mini card, which you can tuck into there. And then all of this just slides close. If you don't do the mini card, just one little trick, this little tab needs to be flat, otherwise it's going to catch on there. So just press it down and then everything will go into the box. It's just such a cute project, and it's elegant too. Okay, so a couple things I'm using. Go to greetings. Look at, I'm using 2 different happy birthdays out of this Go to greetings stamp set, and I just love the fonts on here. They're all pretty and scripty, and each of the main greetings has a smaller, like 3 different size greetings, so it's perfect for making different size for different size needs, different sizes of cards. All right, and then kind of the star of this show is these new, they're called designer tags dies, and I'm using this tag right here, and I'm also using this rose piece, which cuts out negative spaces, so it kind of makes some interesting design on here, and it makes a nice little design for my little mini card. And I don't know if you noticed, but this is a very subtle die. It's called the Stitched Greenery die. And if you look closely on my box, you will see I've got that on there, and it just adds a little texture without overwhelming the tag, because the tag's so pretty, you don't want to take it away from that. So it's just kind of got a nice subtle texture. If you wanted to, you could also use an embossing folder to emboss a front piece, or you could use some designer series paper. You could use some of this 2022-2024 in color designer series paper for the front as well. But when I held all 3 of them up, I did 3 different ways. I held them up to the box, and I thought this looked the nicest, so that's why I went with that one. All right, I'm going to show you how to make my box. It's so much fun. Okay, let me scoot all this aside. And we're going to need, it's easiest to do this with a Simply Scored. So I'm going to bring this out here. And we're going to create the box base first. Okay, so we're going to need a 9" by 8.5" piece of cardstock. 9 by 8.5. And we're going to score this piece on the 1" and the 2" marks on all 4 sides. So 1 and 2, turn, 1 and 2, turn, 1 and 2, and turn, 1 and 2. Okay. So that is the base. So for this, I'm going to do a little helper diagram. You can see there's 4 squares on each corner. Okay, so we're going to cut away. This is a double wall box, so we're going to cut away the 3 corner squares. So if you want to help yourself remember, just put an X in the 3 corner squares. Okay, and we're preserving this one right here, this inner square right here. It's kind of hard sometimes to tell on this box because 8.5 and 9 inches are both very similar. They're visually, this almost looks like a square, but I have the 8.5 inch side facing me. And what I like to do to create straight lines, I like to use my trimmer for this part, but I want to also tell you that you can very easily use scissors as well. So I have the shorter side, the 8.5 inch side facing me. So what I will do is I'm going to cut up along the score lines to the second score intersection. So I'm going to cut here, 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 and here. And then I'm going to turn it to the other short side and cut here, 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 and here. I'm going to do this on my trimmer though because I feel like it's faster once you get the hang of it. You just have to make sure you don't cut where you don't want to cut. So I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to bring this to the second score line in, and I'm going to cut there. I'm going to lift this up. I'm going to come down to the bottom, and I'm going to cut here. So I've cut here, I've cut here, and now I'm going to line up along that groove, and this is lifted up again. I'm only cutting the edge. Okay, lift it up, bring this down. I'm using my thumb to lift it. Okay, I want to show you what I just did. So I've got these two like this and these two like this. Turn. We're going to do the same thing. This is the other short side. I'm lifting up and cut, lift and cut. Move it to the other score groove. And I'm just cutting in for about 2 inches in. I'm lifted this up again and cut. If you're worried you're going to cut through your score lines in the wrong places, then use scissors. So this is what I've got so far. Okay, I've got the 2 cuts. Okay, so I can keep using my trimmer. So I'm going to turn now, and now the long side is facing me. So I've got it turned a quarter turn. And I'm going to now cut these outer pieces off. And I'm going to go all the way down to that 2-inch mark again, but just for the outer ones. So I just want to cut off those 2 squares right there. And then we'll do this bottom one right here, 2 squares. So when I cut 2 inches down, that will remove those ones. And now this time I'm just going to cut down 1 inch, not all the way to the 2-inch mark, because I just want to remove that 1 square with the X on it. And then lift this up, lift. Okay, so now we've got something that looks like that. And I'll do the same with the other side. I'll do the outer 2 squares, cutting them off first. So this one will be taking those outer 2 off. It's down 2 inches. Okay. And then this last one, I'm going in 1 to the inner one. And this time I just have to remember not 2 inches, just 1 inch. And then lift, and I'm going to do just 1 inch. And there we go. That's what it looks like. And then we can throw all of those away. And then right here, these are now like inner tabs. Okay. I'm going to angle cut them. So I'm just going to come in and do this to all of them. It just takes just like a sliver off. This is going to help you fold the box in. If you want, you can omit this step if you do, you're just going to have to, when you fold it together, it's going to just take you a little bit longer to smooth out the edges because the cardstock will crumple a little bit in those sections. It probably doesn't make a difference to the overall look of the box. But for me, folding this in, just taking this little extra step helps me to fold the box together. Okay. So you can see these are just really tiny little slivers coming off on an angle. And then you can see what the box is starting to look like. We've done double walled boxes before, so this is probably familiar to you. And I'm going to fold this in on all the score lines. Everything gets folded in. Even these outer ones. Turn this over. Turn this over. And now we'll do these ones. Bring that one in. That one in. The bone folder just helps make that fold really, really crisp. Okay. So if you orient your piece like this, you'll notice that this piece, the one that has these little tabs attached, we can glue these two pieces down first because these tabs are going to come in like this and nothing's tucking into these tabs, okay? So if you orient it like this with the little tabs like this facing you, and what I'm gonna do, bring in some glue, and I'll put it on this outer edge right here, and we'll fold it over, and I'm just gonna use my bone folder to make sure that becomes a nice solid side. Okay, then I'm going to turn it because I find it easier to work from my right side. If you're left-handed, you'll probably find it easier on the opposite side. Okay, fold this over and smooth it down. Okay. All right, so then when I'm bringing this box in together, I will put Tombow on this outer piece, this outer segment, and just to help these little tabs stay in place, I'm going to put a little bit of Tombow right here, just where the tab's going to hit, and right here. You don't want to put it on the whole piece because that's actually going to be the wall of the box, but I just want a little dab of glue right here where the tabs are going to come together. I don't know if you can see that. I've got little circles of glue, and then my whole outer piece is like that. Actually, it shouldn't matter. You could put glue here because this outer wall right here is what's going to be on the inside. It's just if you put glue here, it's going to be doubled up because you already have glue on the outside here. Okay, so I'm just going to lift this over, tucking in those tabs. I'm going to bring them in, and this is what I mean. If you've angle cut those tabs, this is going to come together really easily because that extra angle is going to help with the space that everything needs to fold over. I'm going to put this down on the side, so the side I just glued, and now I'm going to use my bone folder and just smooth it down, and that creates that lovely double walled box. It's just so nice and sturdy then. Okay, so we'll do the same for this side. I'm going to put Tombow here, and a little dab here, and a little dab here. Have those little tabs in. We're going to fold this over. Get some glue on my finger. I'm always doing this, taking the glue off my fingers. It seems to work pretty well for the glue. Okay. So just bring that in, put it down, use your bone folder, smooth it out. And there is the little box. Okay, so this is the base of the box. We're going to do a few more things to it, but I want to show you the cover first because I know a lot of you will want to skip ahead and do whatever you want on the cover, but I want to show you how to create the cover. So for the cover, we're going to need 2 pieces of Orchid Oasis or whatever colored cardstock you're going to use. Use that. And these pieces measure, grab my sheet, 6 9/16 by 5 1/8. And I know people hate that number, 6 9/16. That sounds awful. Okay, it's really easy actually. I'm going to show you. So I have my ruler down here. Look at the bottom numbers, not the top numbers, because that's a centering ruler. Okay, so we've got, actually this is not the best ruler. I'm going to use this ruler. Okay, so this is 6.5 inches, and that would be actually 6 8/16. So you're just going to go 1 tick further than 6.5. So that would be 6 9/16. So just go 1 tick further in between 6.5 and 6 5/8. So it's actually not too bad. Just remember to go 1 little tick over 6.5, and that will be 6 9/16. And then of course 5 1/8 you should be able to figure out. And so you'll need 2 pieces of this. And we're going to bring in the scoring tool again. And I've already done one, so I'll set that aside. So for this piece, you're going to score at the 1 inch mark. And this is the long side up at the top. The long side is up at the top. Score at 1 inch, turn 180 degrees to the other long side, and score at 1 inch. So make sure you do that 1 inch on this side. Don't try to do it from this side. It's 1 inch on both sides, and you need 2 pieces of it. Because it would have been very hard to make a slider cover out of 1 sheet of cardstock. It wasn't quite long enough, so I had to use 2 pieces, which is absolutely fine, and actually it probably makes the project a little easier. So we're just going to fold inwards along both of those score lines. And basically what we're going to do is attach them. So this one right here, I'm going to put Tombow along this end segment. And I'm going to take another one and I'm going to put it, you can probably see my score line creates just a little bit of a bump line. Okay, I'm going to put it not on the line, just above it. So it's just the edge of the cardstock is just above the bump, and that will be perfect. You can use your bone folder to smooth that down. Okay, do a good alignment on that first one, and then your second one should be a lot easier. So now I'm going to fold like this, and then this one's going to fold and glue over like this. Okay, see? So make sure you arrange it before you glue it so you know where you're putting the glue in the right section. So I'm going to put this on the outer segment here. And then we're going to push this over top, come around here, smooth this down. Okay, so now let's test this out. Let's see if I got my measurements right. Okay, there we go. Sliding in. So it's a snug fit. Actually, I think I want to have it like this because that's the end of the cardstock. You want it to be like a snug fit, so it's not too loosey-goosey, and that's why I designed the measurements like that. It's not going to come sliding off, is what the design is supposed to be. Okay, so now we need to decorate the front of the box and create that card. So let's go ahead and do our little die cutting. And we're going to create the tag and the card at the same time. So let's bring this in. This is our stamp and cut and emboss machine. I've got my handle over on the side that I'm cranking. You can't see that when this is on camera. And I'm going to be using the standard sandwich for die cutting, thin dies. So I've got my base platform number 1, my thin die adapter number 2. I've got a clear plate, and I've got another clear plate that I'm going to put on top. Let's cut, first of all, this is going to be the top part of our cover, and I'm cutting an extra piece for that. So this piece measures, let me get this right, let me look at my diagram. So this one will measure, I didn't write it down. I'm going to measure it. That's what I'll do. See, my project sheets often are not complete. So, okay, this one measures 4 9/16. Remember the 9/16? So 4 9/16. So it will be 4.5 plus a little bit. And then this direction, it is 5 1/8 inches. All right, I'm just going to put this. Actually, I'm going to do this because I can see better where it's cutting. Okay. The stitch greenery die is down. I've got my piece on top of it. It fits on there just perfectly. If it was too much wider, I never would have been able to do this for the top. All right. So now I'm going to peel this off. And if you want this to peel off a little easier, I should have rubbed this with some wax paper, but let me just grab this corner here. It just needs to start, and then it comes off easily. But if yours is starting to stick, wax paper, not parchment paper, wax paper, just rub it over the die, and it helps release your die from the cardstock. Okay, and so this is what it looks like. You can see the little stitching. We'll glue that onto our box afterwards. Scoot this back over here. Okay, so we're going to cut 2 tags. One is going to be out of Orchid Oasis, and the other is going to be out of Basic White. So let's go ahead and do that. I like to put this in on an angle because it's got a long straight side. It will go through your machine easier. So let's do one of these. Okay. Tag number 1. And we can do tag number 2. This is out of Basic White. There is the other tag. Then we're going to take this rose piece and we're going to take our white tag again. And you want to put your rose piece down at the bottom. You want to leave enough room for happy birthday up at the top. So you just need to kind of orient it so that there's enough room. And we'll just run this piece through. I'm just gonna take all of those pieces, just push them out with my fingers. This negative die works pretty well. I'm gonna lift this, whoa! Whenever I lift this up away from this, there's a lot of static electricity. So if you lift them together, I'm gonna take that over to my garbage, and I just have an old hotel key or a credit card, something old plastic, and I just shove off all of the little shards into my garbage. Okay. Right, that's what the first one looks like. And then I've cut 2 squares of cardstock. These are 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. We just need one of them right now. And for this one, I'm going to take it, and I want to kind of have it on the corner like this. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, because that's going to be on the top of our note card. So let's run this through. And lift all these pieces off. Okay, and there's our little square. And I'm going to take both of these over, use my little hotel key, and scrape those little shards off so they don't go all over the place. Okay, I think I've done all the die cutting I need. I think. All right. Let's pop those on here. Okay, so remember I said we cut 2 squares of 2 7/8 by 2 7/8. And I'm just going to grab a little scrap piece of paper, just in case I go off the edge. So I'm just going to line up these 2 pieces so they're right on top of each other, okay? So that's why I want 2 pieces of 2 7/8. And I'm going to take sponge daubers, and I'm going to take 2 colors of ink, Orchid Oasis and Parakeet Party. Make sure this is lined up. We'll start off, we're going to color this bottom rose here. I'm just pinning this down with my fingers. I'm going to daub a little bit of the Orchid Oasis, and then I'm going to daub all over just the rose. So I'm trying to avoid daubing on my leaf area. Okay, I'm just daubing as much as possible onto where the rose is. Trying to avoid the leaves. Okay, if you want to check how am I doing, you can lift this off, okay? And the nice thing about this is that because I've lined up, the 2 pieces of paper are the same size, you just line it up perfectly underneath again. So now you know, oh, this is all lined up because that's how you've been daubing. And then we'll do this rose right here. I'm trying to get a little bit around the edge because I'm actually coloring the negative and the positive at the same time. All right, I'm going to switch colors. You can kind of see what's happening underneath. Line it back up. And now I'm going to come in here. Parakeet Party is not as dark as Orchid Oasis, so you might need to take a little bit more time to work in the color to make it bright enough. There's a little tiny stem in here. I want to make sure I get that. And then come around here. Making sure I'm getting that end piece. Okay, I'll lift this off. Okay, so you can kind of see the pattern you've created, and have a look at your base and see, does that look good? Did you get enough color in there? And for me, yes, this is good enough because this is going to slide under this tag over here. Okay, so now we're ready. Well, we'll need that one more time. Move those out of the way. Okay, so we're going to stamp happy birthday on the top of this tag and on top of this card. So I've already tested out how to get this straight. I used a scrap piece of paper. This is what I do. Just to make sure I'm stamping straight, I take this, and I actually made sure I aligned this with the edge of the block. So I want to make sure my edge of the block, actually I'm going to be stamping from the top, is straight. And then I'm going to test it to make sure how well I can stamp that straight. So I'm going to use the edge of my block. There's a bit of a curl. I want it to lay flat. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to use that edge of the block because I lined it up with the edge. That looks pretty good. And there's my happy birthday for the top of that. And then for this one, and remember these are both from the Go To Greetings. And this one I want to test to make sure, okay, this looks really wonky, but it's actually straight. So I cut these apart because I wanted to stack them rather than have them go side by side. So you can easily do that. You know, these two, the bigger happy birthday is connected, so you can't do that. But with these two, you can cut them apart and then you can put them back together in a straight line later if you want to. Okay, so for the note card, I've just got a little card base right here. This one is 6 inches by 3 inches, scored in half at the 3-inch mark. Smooth this down. And then we're going to adhere this onto the front. So it's nice that we could create the tag for the front while we were creating also a piece from the front of our card. We're doing dual purpose. A little mask works both ways. And then we'll just add that to the front of the card. There. So cute, right? Very nice and popping. It pops a lot. Okay, so how do we do this one? Let's take some paper snips. And really, we don't have to cut away too much, but we will have to cut a little bit away from here. So I'm just going to kind of follow the bottom of the rose. And we'll just kind of give it a little trim up. And at the top, it doesn't need too much trimming. So let's just kind of come around like this. So I just did a little rough trimming on here. Let's just test it out and see if any paper is sticking out. And it doesn't look like there's any paper sticking out. So now I'm just going to take this and just put glue where there is no sponging going on. So I'm not even being perfect because this is going to be the backing for our tag. So then I'll just hover this over top and I'm going to turn it, make sure I can see everything that I want to see coming through. Okay. And I'm going to press down. And this looks really nice. You can tell there's some lighter parts, some darker parts. So it looks very artistic, and it's got a very tactile feel to it. And then for this, I'm just going to put Tombow on my back of the tag. This is just going to back up my tag piece. I'm just going to line up both of these perfectly. That, press down, and there is my tag for the front. Okay, so I'm trying to think which I should do next. Let's finish up this part of the box. So we've got this piece right here, and we're just going to adhere it to the top of the box. And you know what? Probably be easier for you if you adhered it while it was flat. So just line this up. And press down. Use your bone folder, burnish it a bit, get that glue to stick. All right. Okay, so we got that. And now it might be easier if we slid this on. Okay. This is going to be here. And we need some of this ribbon. This is called frayed ribbon. And what I'm going to do, this is thick ribbon. I don't usually use a lot of this thick ribbon, but I tell you, it looks really nice on this box. It's nice for 3D things. So I'm just going to bring that around, bring this around, the ribbon to the other side. And what I want to do for this top part is I'm going to take 4 dimensionals and put them kind of in the 4 corners of this piece. This is just going to anchor my piece down and keep it in place. And it's also going to give some space for the ribbon to live underneath it. So I can still pull it over. So what I'm aiming for here is just to try and get it centered on my box. Because there's nothing in my box, the lid is drooping just a bit, so I'm just trying to get it on the edges. Okay, so now that I've got that going on, make sure my ribbon's not twisted in the back. And then we can do a knot. And let me cut that off. Let's see if I can tie this. So this is big and chunky, so I can see this is my top loop, so I'm going to pull on this side to kind of bring that in. And this is frayed ribbon, so it's supposed to look a little shabby chic. It's not supposed to look crisp and clean. Usually I do a lot of crisp, clean designs, but this one, it's supposed to be kind of pretty and, you know, just a little bit different. It's elegant rather than cute. Although I think I did call it cute earlier on, but it is cute because of the stuff inside it, but it's also like really elegant and pretty when you do that. Okay, so we've got this all worked out, and now I need to show you how to put everything in the box. So let's talk a little bit about what I'm going to put in the box. So in this particular box, I put a Betty Crocker mug treat, and I thought it would be fun to do the rainbow chip cake mix. They have other ones as well. I think they have 4 different varieties. I also wanted to tell you that you can use the Duncan Hines ones as well. They don't have a confetti cake like this, but they have other varieties. So if you prefer Duncan Hines, have a look. I'm just going to show you what the difference is. So those are the 2 types of mug cakes that I found. I think there's some other ones out in the market, but these are the ones that you're going to find kind of that are more mainstream. So you can see the Duncan Hines cake one is just a tiny bit smaller than the Betty Crocker one. So it will fit into your box as well. The Betty Crocker one comes with a topping. And it comes with this pouch right here. And there is instructions on the back. So that's really nice. It's already printed there for you and the person who receives it. Okay, so we've got that, and that we're going to create a little wrap for that. Then for the balloons, I happen to be at Target. If you don't have Targets where you're at, you can just get what you have on hand. But I wanted to share with you, I got these balloons, Spritz brand balloons in Target. This was near their party supply section, and they had different colors of balloon collections. I took the purple and pink ones because I thought they'd look nice with my project. And then I got, this was actually right close to the cake mixes, but they had other candles in this party section as well. So, you know, just choose what you want. These are your very traditional small style birthday candles, and they did have those in the party section as well. And now, of course, they have different longer ones, thicker ones, so you can find what you want, and you might need to adapt the loops a little bit. But these ones, let me just grab my ruler one more time, just out of curiosity. These ones are just under 2.5 inches long, and they're about just under 1/4 inch wide if you're measuring looking down. So these are small traditional ones. So I've got my candles, and I thought since there were 4 colors of candles, I'm going to do 4 candles in there. 4 not necessarily being the person's age, but 4 would look really cute in the mug cake. Or you could do 1 as well, but if you do 1, you might have to adjust the loop. The other thing with 4, it looks really bright and colorful, so that's kind of fun. Okay, so now you know what we're putting in. Now I'll have to show you how to secure your pieces. So I'm going to grab some supplies, and I'm going to grab my scoring board one more time. And this time I've got a piece that measures 10 inches by 1 inch. I am making the cake band. This is going to go around the cake, and I'm going to score at the 1/2 inch mark, the 2 3/4 inch mark. I'm looking for my next measurement, the 7 1/4 inch mark, and finally the 9 1/2 inch mark. Okay, so that will be for our cake. And then we're going to create 2 bands, one for the balloon and one for the candles, and they're both the same. So you'll need 2 pieces that measure 3 3/4 inches by 3/4 inch. Put the long side up at the top, and you're going to score at the 3/4 inch mark, the 1 7/8 inch mark, and the 3 inch mark. And I already did the second one, so both of these are already scored. You'll need 2 of these. All right, you're also going to need 2 pieces of 2 1/4 inch by 1 inch designer series paper. This is optional, just to help decorate the cake band a bit. Okay, so for the cake band, we're going to fold in, and then we're going to fold these little guys back. Okay, so it looks like this. This is going to come around and these two tabs will match up like this. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue these two together. They're the end tabs. This just helps lift the cake out and it makes it look a little prettier. And then we're going to take these little guys, these remember are 2 1/4 by 1 inch, and we're just going to add them on here just to pretty this band up. And the reason I didn't make the band out of the designer series paper is the designer series paper is only 6 inches long. So I would have had to double up on the paper. So instead we did out of cardstock, and we're just decorating up the front like this with some paper. All right, let's bring in our box. Let's bring in our things. And so you just wanna, it's easier to slide over one. The bottom is easier to slide in because it's fatter. Just slide that in to about the middle, and then you're going to slide in the topping. Okay. And so that is ready to put in the box. And then we're going to come in and let's create our little balloon and candle tabs. So we're just going to fold like this, and then these fold down like this. This is what this looks like. These two end tabs get glued together, and then this kind of forms like a little loop up here. And that's where the balloon or the candles are going to go in. So it's easier to get the candles in there beforehand. So you can line these up and get them kind of lined up beforehand, and then put the glue in, because we're just adhering the two end segments together. Line them up so they're square on the ends. You can do this afterwards too if you want. It's just, it's a little more difficult to get them in once you've got the loop. It's just really easy to kind of do that. Same thing for the balloon, but I'm going to show you with the balloon that it's not hard. I'm going to glue first, and then I'll slide the balloon in second. So I'll just create those, that overlap. We've got that little loop right there. So I'll just take my balloon and feed it through. And this is going to bend like this on this side. Actually, you know what? I want to just... Okay, this is feeding through. Okay. I want this like this. I'm feeding it through the wrong side. That's the problem. It had kind of bowed a certain way, and I wanted that end to be down. So let me just put this in. It really doesn't matter. It's just, I'm just a control freak, that's all. Okay, so those are the two little pieces. So let's bring in our box. And really this is quite simple. You're just going to adhere this piece to the side wall of the box. So this becomes the little tab right here. And I'm wanting to make sure this is glued all the way inside. I'll show you what it looks like in a second. And I want to center it from side to side. That's kind of what it looks like. Get it close to center. And then you can adjust your balloon. This is a fairly large balloon and it fits in here really nicely. You might end up with a smaller balloon. And then for these guys, same thing. Got this little end tab. And I'm just going to adhere, try and keeping them centered. I think that looks pretty good. So you can see that little tab just is on the side wall of the box. Okay, so those just kind of hang out like that because they're very light. And then we're going to come in with our little cake and just slide that in. Slide this in. And you might need to adjust a little bit. You can tuck in the topping or the cake. It might need to bend up a little bit and just kind of cozy it into the box, right? And then for your card, remember we sell 3x3 envelopes, and you would just slip that inside the envelope after you've written it, and you can put this down into here if you want. Okay, and then the slider cover will come over top, tuck everything in, and there it is, the birthday in a box. So it's just a nice little thing you can have on hand. Now I have two. Someone's birthday coming up, you got a card right away, you write in the card. You can keep these in your office desk drawer, and then they're just going to be like available to, you know, to have on hand. So I thought that was kind of like a fun little idea, and you can decorate it up however you want. The nice thing about this particular die, where is it? Let me pull this out. You choose your colors, right? There are only two colors in this project. We've got Orchid Oasis and Parakeet Party, and I used those, just the inks, to color this. So don't like purple, use a pink, a red, a blue, whatever. You color your flowers however you want. And you're creating two of them at the same time. Choose a different green if you don't like Parakeet Party. These are our new in colors this year, and I always love working with the new colors. So this is just a really pretty tag set. The little butterfly is not a negative butterfly. Let me show you. It actually cuts out like this. So theoretically, I mean, if you wanted to, if I've already got this down, but you could add a little butterfly somewhere if you wanted to your project, make it really cute. So there's a lot of different options with this little tag set, and the greenery, the stitch greenery dies makes just a really lovely background. Hard to see on camera, but I think it really catches the eye when you see it in person. So I hope you like that, and I'm gonna come back over to you and see if you have any questions for me. Now that I think of it, I maybe should have done two different colors just to show you how cool it would be in a different color, but I really love Orchid Oasis, so that's kind of cool. So if you join me partway through, don't forget it's celebration. You get a reward for every $50 or $100 you spend. All the supplies I used today are listed down below in the description of this video. As well, if you click over to my blog, you'll get to see more photos of the project today, and you'll have a clickable supply list. And so everything will be housed over on my blog if you need to access it. All right, I want to talk to you guys. I want to find out if you liked my project. Oh, I highlighted someone's. Ah, that's cool. I can highlight someone's comment. Huh, that's cool. I didn't know I could do that. Accidental clicking. Okay, I'm going to say hello to everyone. Let me know if you have questions. Good morning, Birgit. Um, oh, Birgit, you were visiting your son in England. How wonderful. It must be hard crossing borders sometimes. I guess when you were all together as part of the European Union, it was easier. I'm not sure if it got more difficult now. I haven't traveled since to Europe since then, but I know it's always harder to like go visit people because I have a son in a different country as well. I'm glad you got to visit your son. That's awesome. Good morning, Vera Blue from Tennessee. Good morning, Janine. Marty. Good morning, Terry. Marty loves the box. Hi, Mary. I'm glad you caught me live too. Hello, Lupe and Judy. Okay, I want to show. I can click on this. I think there. Now that's a comment. Janine said, "This is adorable. I love it." I didn't know I could do that until I accidentally clicked earlier. Linda said it's adorable. Loopy, I do have a sweet tooth, but you don't have to announce it. No, I'm just kidding. I really have a sweet tooth. I have to tame it though, and I walk twice a day so that I can have a little sweetness in my life. But I do try when I bake for myself. I always reduce the sugar in my baking because you can. It's very easy. Most recipes online are too sweet. You can probably reduce most recipes online by half. So I always take a look at that. So good morning, Lita. Yeah, it is an easy box. It sounds like I've taken a lot of steps to make it, but it's not hard at all. It is pretty easy to get through all the different steps. And so once you get the project sheet, you'll be ready to roll. Linda says she does 3 candles for adults, past, present, and future. Oh, okay. I love that. So you might need to just adjust the loop a little bit. The 3/4 inch ends are a pretty good size because you don't want it all the way up to the top. So I would just shrink that loop portion a bit. Try going down by 1/4 inch, and then just making that score at 3/4. So if you would do maybe 3.5 inches by 3/4 of an inch, and then score 3/4 of an inch at both ends, and then score in the middle, which would be 1 3/4, then that would give you a little bit of a smaller loop for smaller candles. But it's pretty easy to adjust candle size if you want. And maybe it would even work with the loop that I have. It just might be a little excess cardstock. So shortening it would be good. Hi, Cindy. I'm going to highlight your comment, Cindy. Look, she says, how absolutely clever and very pretty. Thank you, Cindy. Nancy says she loves the project. Thank you. Mary says, great and so cute. Nalita says, oh, she has me on my TV screen and it looks navy blue in color. Yeah, it's actually the box is Orchid Oasis, one of the new in colors. Loopy says, so lovely. Stephanie said, very cute project. Tell me, how did I highlight the comments? So I'm using a streaming service called Ecamm Live. So I have the comments streaming on the side. So all I had to do was click on your little, you have a little S for your icon. So I just clicked on that. So I don't know if you do videos as well, and if you use a streaming service, there might be something like that as well. Or, however you do it, there might be that option. So just try clicking on things accidentally, and then maybe you'll come up with a way to do that too, because I did not know I could do that. So it's kind of cool. Hi, Laura, and thank you. She said it was a great idea. Tina says she loves the birthday box. Oh, great. And Bear Blue says, so cute and easy. Well, thank you, everyone. I'm so glad you liked the project. It looks like no one has any questions, so that's great. I must have answered all the questions while I was live. But if you do have a question for me afterwards, please put it in the comments and I will get to you, and I will answer your question. And yeah. So anyway, have a great weekend, everyone. I hope you stay cool. It sounds like the US is pretty hot and elsewhere in the world is too. I go live 2 times a week. I go live at 10 a.m. Eastern on my Facebook channel, and then 10 a.m. Eastern live on Fridays with a 3D or a fanciful project. I hope you will join me live for one of those, but I appreciate you even if you're watching the replay. I love it if you give me a like, or when you subscribe to my channel. That helps other people find me. So I appreciate all of that, and thank you very much. Stephanie said, thank you. So I have gotten so many of your kisses tutorials. I need a gingerbread man. Oh, I'll think about that one. I was just thinking, gingerbread man, all those curved shapes, like some of those designs are like, they really, really test my brain power to create. So I don't know, maybe one day I'll have a gingerbread man. That would be cool. I think I actually have it on my list, Stephanie, but I will keep it in mind for the future. Cindy said, no questions because you're that excellent of a teacher. Well, thank you. I'm pretty sure, I'm thankful that you think I'm a good teacher, but everyone learns differently. So everyone sees things differently. So I want people to ask questions, because I know that I always have a ton of questions because I don't always see things the way everyone else sees things. So please, please ask questions, and I welcome them. Tina says, thank you for sharing this great idea. All right. Bye, everyone. Have a great weekend. Take care. Bye-bye.